Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two straight rye whiskeys with no age statement. The first is Jim Beam Rye, introduced in 2015, replacing the old Jim Beam Rye, the yellow label, which I've never seen except photos on the internet. No mash bill, so we don't know what percentage of rye it is. We know it's at least 51%. This is the newer bottle. You might find some older, taller, cylindrical, skinny bottles at certain stores. Okay, so it's a nice looking product. It cost me, I can only go by the prices I paid. I mean, you're gonna have to pay more. You're gonna have to pay more. Having a shoot of King Bay rum, says Hector Lopez. Morning. Kings Bay. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I've never tried it. I've never bought it. It used to be made in the Caribbean, but now they make Kings Bay in Owensboro, Kentucky. It's a Kentucky produced rum, believe it or not. So there's Jim Beam Rye. $17.49. $17.49 at Total Wine and More. My nose is itching. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Rye. So that one's made in Kentucky, of course. This one's made in Tennessee. Introduced in 2017, 5 years ago. I paid $11.98 for 750 milliliters. Say that again. $11.98 for 750 milliliters. $17.49 for 750 milliliters. Not the normal price. Okay, the normal price for these is going to be about $20, $18 to $20 a bottle. Okay, probably more now, $19 to $21 with the JB inflation. Okay, they're very similar. Now the Jack Daniels, we know it is 70% rye because it states it on their website, 70% rye. And I think if you watch their little video they have, it details what the other 30% is, but we don't have time to go into that. But it's at least 70% rye grain. Okay. So this could be very difficult. I only have one win and I have 3 losses. So haven't exactly done that well in this. I guess I will buy the Kings Bay since one of my viewers is drinking, sipping on it. There's the Kings Bay Gold, the Kings Bay White. Then there's the Spice. There might be an overproof, but yeah, I know where to buy it. I know at least 2 places that has it. Same thing with the Bandolero tequila, silver, gold. There may be a third one. Now, is Bandolero any good? Oh, well, I mean, for $6 a bottle, you think it's going to be great, but it's probably not horrendous. I have seen both, but I have been on a budget, so I buy cheap liquor. I recommend that everybody make a budget for the month. Do it monthly because your bills are going to come monthly, right? Cable bill, internet bill, whatever, Wi-Fi, whatever, however you got that. Electricity, gas, if you have gas, natural gas, cell phone bill, or if you have a landline, insurance. These are all going to rent or a house note. These are all going to come once a month. So most Americans do not budget. They just spend money every month and hope for the best. But the newspaper today was talking about budget. I do it every month. It's a plan. What is a budget? It is a plan for spending. You sit down and say, here's how much money I'm going to make in the month. And if you get a fixed income, then you know this is exactly what I'm going to have this month. Then you start subtracting the necessities from that. House note or rent, mortgage or rent, you know you have to pay that, so that's going to come out first. Then all your utilities, that's going to come out. Then you figure out how much you're going to need for food and home expenses, such as buying, you know, floor wax or something like that, cleanser. All right. Then, and if there's any medicine you have to buy, then you subtract that. Now, then the next thing is things that are not necessities, that are secondary, like your savings account. It's good to have a savings account, but you can live without it, but it's be a bad idea. Now, then the last would be just wants, things you want, like, oh, I want to buy Johnny Walker Double Black because I want to try that Scotch whiskey. Well, you don't have to buy it. You just want to buy it. Like Hector says, he was short on money, so he bought a cheap liquor. Okay, well, he says a substitute. Some people want to live like a king, but they make money like a pauper, you know. And sometimes it's by choice. They want a low-level job with low stress and not have to do a whole lot. Fine, that's fine, but you're not going to live like a king. So, but then the loan, these people that give out loans, you like that, they sell loans. They entice the less educated to get into heavy debt with easy money schemes and all of that. And it's a very bad thing. Okay. Yeah, smells like rye bread crust, minty, spicy, peppery. If you've never had rye bread, it's almost impossible to describe what rye whiskey smells or tastes like to that person, because you have to have experience with rye bread, which is an unusual flavor as it is. It's like licorice, you know, trying to describe licorice to someone. Now, I bought some Australian licorice this past week, like, I think it was Wednesday, and I said to people at work, would you like to try some? Oh, no. One guy tried it, and he liked it. And I said, well, but they just don't like that taste, you know. They hate it, you know. But at least they know what it tastes like, see? So they could know that, they know that flavor. And it's like rye. Some people hate rye bread, okay? All right. Fair, that's fair. You don't have to like it, but they know the taste, okay. This smells the same, but lower in the nose, you know, like less pronounced. So I think it's the Jim Beam rye, because the Jack Daniels rye is 70% rye. See, I know it's a higher, well, I assume it's a higher percentage, because it might be, who knows, Jim Beam might be 70% rye. I doubt it, but it could be. All right. It tastes like rye grain. I mean, whiskey's sweet, so it tastes sugary. And then it tastes like bread. You say, well, it's made out of grain. What do you expect? Well, that's what I do expect. So it tastes like rye bread. All right. Now I'm going to go get some sauerkraut and some corned beef and some Creole mustard, and then we're ready to roll. All right. And of course, some potato chips and kosher pickles. What do I know for Rubens? Okay. And even if I didn't, it wouldn't even matter, because the other thing. Now, yeah, same thing. Rye bread, what I just described, but lower, a less pronounced flavor, less bold, or more mild. I guess you say milder. They sell both the silver rum and the gold rum of Kings Bay, right? I've seen that at every store I've ever seen. Any more mezcal tequila reviews? Yeah, but when I get back to it, you see, I go in an order. I follow a pattern, and then I don't deviate. So I do rye whiskeys, then I do bourbon, then I do American blended whiskey, then I do Canadian blended whiskey, then I do Irish blended whiskey, Then I do single malt scotch, then blended scotch, then brandy or cognac, which cognac is a type of brandy. Then I go to rum, whether it's añejo, silver, gold or silver or spice or whatever we're looking at. Then tequila, which is a type of mezcal, tequila mezcal, and then regular non-tequila mezcal. And then it's back to the rye whiskey, and we just keep going around in the circle. Now, if you would ask me, what does that accomplish? It doesn't accomplish anything meaningful, but it accomplishes going through the tournament. It's an entertainment. It's a hobby, whatever. Some people think it's important. It isn't important. All right. I think this one in my left hand is stronger and bolder. Same proof, 90, but I believe it's a Jack Daniels, and I like it a little better. It's got a little sweeter, more exciting flavor. Sweeter, more exciting flavor. But yeah, not by much. So in reality, which one would I buy? I'd buy whatever one was cheaper. All right. So if the Jack Daniels was $19 and the Jim Beam was $17 or even $18, I'd just get the Jim Beam. You're not losing a lot, and with the JD, you're not gaining a lot. But it is, I think, a little bit better. Yeah, it's kind of dark still. Every day that goes by, dawn comes a little later because of the days grow shorter after the late part of June. So now I got 2 wins. I believe I got my record straight. I might have screwed up. I have to go back and look. But I got 2 wins, 3 losses. So we're making some progress. 2 wins, 3 losses. Now, when when the rye whiskey's finished, then we're going to bring in a new bourbon that I had never tried before in my life until Thursday. And it's the 2-year age, which is very rare. Geordie's Den from Scotland. Hello, Ronald, and cheers. Cheers to you, Geordie, over there in the Kingdom of Scotland. Thanks for watching. It's midday for you. Never in my life had I tried Jesse James bourbon, America's outlaw bourbon. If you go to the store, they sell the 3-year aged and a bunch of other types, single barrel, a Tennessee whiskey from them, a small batch version. They have a spiced version. They have some kind of flavored version. I think it's honey, and all of this. But I bought the regular original one, the white label, but mine is a 2-year age. Mine says age 24 months, which I thought was the normal one. And then I'll find out it's all 3 years. So I don't know if I had an early release bottle that I got or if there's just some alternate version that they don't list on the website. But I said, oh, well, I got something special. It's a very young whiskey. So that's what we're coming up with. The next time we get together, which hopefully is tomorrow morning, for Dawn Busters, we're going to do Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey versus Sazerac Rye, which I believe is 90 proof or could be 90 point something proof. But you would think and hope that Sazerac Rye would win because it is significantly more expensive for most of the United States. Although some New Orleans stores will sell it still right now for $19.99 on a special price, $19.99. But I've got people, I've watched videos on the internet where if they live in Vermont or like Iowa or Indiana, so forth, they got to pay $50 a bottle. I said, oh no, no. It's an inexpensive brand here in Louisiana. I saw it at Walmart just the other day. Big bottles, the jug bottles, and the regular size. And a lot of it, Sazerac. Well, Sazerac Rye is made in New Orleans. A little bit of it. Most of it's made in Kentucky at their Buffalo Trace distillery. Jordy says, I like Jim Beam original bourbon, white label, although I've not had it in a while. Yeah, I have a bottle. I have 2 half-size bottles, two halves make a whole. Well, Mathern's had it on sale last year. $4.99 times 2 is what? $9.98. $9.98. That's 2 pennies less than $10. So why wouldn't I buy it? And plus, I needed to revisit it anyway. So yeah, it was a great deal. Sazerac rye is getting expensive here in Los Angeles, says Hector. Oh, it is, huh? I believe it. I believe that, but it hasn't gotten too expensive here yet. There must be a good back stock of it here because I'm still seeing it, like I said, $19.99. Now that's probably going to end because I noticed Walmart had it for $22.99, which is a good deal more than it was. But that's what happens when you inflate the money supply. People are they don't understand. The United Kingdom is suffering the same problem. They have an even higher inflation rate. Why is that? Because the British government, under this terrible prime minister that was forced to resign, maybe the worst prime minister they ever had, but Boris Johnson, well, I don't know. Maybe he's not the worst, but he's one of the, they inflated the money supply because they want to spend all this stuff without not actually having the money. They borrowed it and just inflated the money supply. And so now, but even over there in England, they don't understand, why is it everything costing more, or Scotland or Wales? Why is everything costing more? It's the big companies. It's their fault. It's like, no, they don't control the money supply. Okay. But that's the way it is. All right. So thanks, everybody. Be back tomorrow, God willing, with Jim Beam Rye versus Sazerac Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey, or in some cases, Louisiana Straight Rye Whiskey.